Hello and welcome everybody to the 6th episode of A Colonist and a Brit Get Along. I'm going to be having a catch-up conversation with my friend Kizza. We've both been working and doing lots of life-building stuff the last year or so, and it's been about 18 months, maybe even 2 years since we've had a proper convo go up on my channel, so we're going to do one today. Thank you for being with me today, Kizza. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Had a nice morning walk today. Captured it for the video. I've been eating healthier, getting more exercise, so I'm feeling pretty good. It's been, I think it was August of 2020, I think is the last time we had something official go up of a Colonist and a Brit Get Along. That's almost 2 years now.
Yeah, I know. Time has flied. Yeah, a lot has happened since then.
It has been a clown world 2 years, let me tell you what.
I would say we've been in Clownwood for, 10 years now?
Well, definitely since the scandemic started, I think that things can definitely be marked as clown world from that point forward. But you know, it's hard to say where you actually put the marker. Is it World War II? Is it what they incorrectly called the Civil War, et cetera, et cetera? But let's just start off with catching up.
Yeah.
To refresh people, I've picked up a lot of followers in the last couple of years, and many people might not even know who you are. Take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself, and then we'll move on from there, and we'll talk about what you've been up to the last year or two.
Okay, so obviously you know me as Kizza. The Supreme Emperor is my preferred gendered pronoun to piss off certain people on the internet. Yeah, so basically for many years ago, I was Yizz's main co-host when she started going all in on the YouTube
Yep,
content creation.
that was like 4.5 years ago now, wasn't it? It's been a while.
Yeah, back in 2018, because we met each other. Well, we ended up connecting with each other, I guess would be the correct term, for back on the old Liberalist group.
Yeah, we met
And
up in the Liberalist group back in 2016, 2017, and
yeah, we got chatting then. And then, what was it, 2019? When I noticed you had a YouTube channel, I gave you some chats for about, let's talk about streaming. And yeah, one thing led to another.
And you of course live in England. You're an Englishman, and you work in engineering processes control. Is that what you work in?
I work in the automotive industry, but I'm an engineer by trade.
Okay. And yeah. I know you can't talk about the specifics of what you do, but do you work in quality control? Do you work in process management? What is it that you work in for automotive?
Predominantly, I'm on the assembly line itself, fitting parts and stuff. But I did for 4 months' time last year go into not quite almost like a quality control, but basically more of a. I was on the launch team regarding updated models for a temporary time because lots of my colleagues who were on the main launch team went out of the country. I won't say where to, but for security reasons.
So we have, of course, been doing what AA might call riding the tiger and all of that, just trying to get by and understanding clown world, doing the best we can. We haven't had a proper conversation, like we said, in quite some time. What have you been up to the last year and a half? What have you gotten into? Any big life changes? Anything crazy happened to you, or you personally? You want to share?
Not much. I mean, I've been connecting during the last conversation, connecting with. Really expanding my, I'm not necessarily portfolio, but getting more connections with other content creators. Like, obviously, our friend Bill and Tank have appeared on their show a few times. Not much recently, but I do need to catch up with them. I've hooked up with Jeremy and Delaney of Weekly Narrative because they love my takes on there.
Obviously, I've talked to them a couple of times on Bill's stream. They seem like kind of people. I like them.
Yeah. I know Jeremy's kind of dropped the Weekly Narrative stuff and restarted a new topic talking about his political ideology of alt-centrism.
Yeah.
And, obviously, like, connecting with the Cabal, chatting with a few people like,
like British Knight.
Just other... Yeah, obviously BK I've done lots of work with.
BK's a good guy. I'd like to stream with him again if we can ever make it work.
Oh, yeah.
We seem to operate at different time schedules. It's hard for me to meet up with him.
I know it is a bit of a pain, but I also did last year the Northern meetup with a few content creators. So we had BK, Mitch, Zen-chan.
Did Scrump go to that one? I know Zen and Mitch did.
Yes, he did. Yeah, yes, both Scrump and Evelyn were there.
Nice. I wish I could just teleport over there. There's so many great people I'd like to meet and hang out with over in England, but it's hard to just hop on a plane and get over there these days.
Well, that's true as well, yeah. What's it called? Because I've been, obviously, it was up north, so I had to take a 3-hour train ride up there. But that was good fun, so we have a face identify. I mean, I knew of Mitch's face.
Yeah.
Because obviously he likes doing video vids. But a lot of them didn't know what I looked like, and they're quite shocked when they see me. And I was just like, a few of them said, "Oh, fuck me, I thought you was going to be some scrawny little 5-foot tall guy." But like, no, you're like 6'2".
No, you're a beefy gentleman.
Yeah. So, it was quite funny, especially meeting Evelyn, because Evelyn was the second tallest one there.
I was going to say, she's between 6 and 6'1". She's almost your height.
Evelyn's about 5'11".
Oh, I thought she said she was taller than me. I'm 5'11" as well, then. Then me and Evelyn are the same height, then.
Yeah. But basically, I made the joke saying, you're just mad at me because you can't look down upon me like everyone else.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But that was quite funny. But yeah,
I like a lot of the people in our cluster. Like, I've only watched a couple of the things Mitch has done, but he seems cool. I like BK. I've listened to like 20 of his streams. I've even streamed with him a few times. I very much like Scrump and Evelyn's content. I listen to them every week, and I would like to stream with them, but it's just, again, it's like there's a lot of people I would love to do content with, but it's because of conflicting time schedules. It's almost impossible to make it work, sadly.
Yeah, it is a bit of a pain because, like, and Evelyn, Trigger was meant to be there as well, but he had personal, he had family things to deal with.
This was right when Trigger Hippie lost his grandfather, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
it was either his grandfather or father. I think it was grandfather. Yeah, because his grandfather was like 85 or something. He was old as hell.
Yeah. So like he was meant to come as well, but didn't, which was a shame. But obviously can't actually put family aside.
I know people give him shit, but I think he's a good man. I like Trig, and I definitely hang out with him.
No, he's fine. I mean, I did jokingly find out that Scrump was big into Robot Wars, and I jokingly said, "Oh, you know what? We should do a stream about that, going through Robot Wars."
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Or those in America don't know, Robot Wars is what you know as BattleBots.
Yeah, BattleBots and Robot Wars are the same. Same, basically the same show. Obviously, it's done by different crews in different places, but it's basically the same premise.
Yeah.
You got two different engineering teams that make BattleBots based on sort of like F1 parameters, where you can only make certain power, you can only make certain structures, that kind of thing within engineering parameters, and then they put them in this cool death arena with flamethrowers and buzzsaws, and they fight. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's great fun. I mean, the US one is definitely more crazy. You guys love your fucking flywheels. That I will say.
Yeah,
you love your flywheels.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the Robot Wars reboot, which only did 2 seasons, and my god, practically everyone came in with a flywheel of some kind.
Yeah.
It's just like, really, guys? But yeah.
Well, the things that have been... Well, let me tell you what's been going on with me then. For the last year and a half, basically, I have moved away from caring about federal politics, from caring about any kind of large-scale organization for nationalism or patriotic movements. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't consider myself a nationalist, and it doesn't mean I'm not some kind of patriot. I am. But I knew going into all of this many years ago that the country I thought I loved either never existed or was dead long before even my grandparents were born. I knew that before I started all the MAGA stuff back in 2015 and 2016 and all that. But I realized that with the way things are with media and corporate control being merged with federal governments around the world, definitely in the West, I don't think that my time and energy is well suited to doing that kind of political activism. I still love the America First people I've met. I wish them the best in trying to clear out all of the cronies and the garbage politicians. That's great. I wish them the best, and I think fighting on multiple fronts is okay. So I wish the America First people and everyone who's politically motivated, like even old Dave Carlson, who comes on here sometimes, I fully endorse these people doing what they feel led to do to try to take back whatever local or federal level political seats they can. That's great. Go ahead. But I don't feel led to care about any of that anymore. So for the last year especially, I've been focused on what I call localism. which is caring only about politics, things that you can vote for, like mayor, alderman, sheriff, that kind of thing in your local area, and paying close attention to who's in your churches, who's in your schools, and pushing out all of the anti-Western asshats that are seeking to encroach into your local area. And at the same time, making connections with people in your area, having face-to-face meetups, trading goods together, and trying to bring back some kind of American cohesion of community-based business. I think that is one of the strongest things we can do. And so that's what I've been pushing for with my voice and my time. And for the last, about the last 5 months, 4 of that, I took a work contract for a local little restaurant chain that's basically like a mix of a Subway and a Domino's or a Pizza Hut or something, where they do sandwiches and pizza and drinks and that kind of stuff, and they do delivery. And I took a delivery, a food delivery, like regular delivery driver, plus logistics driver for taking goods and employees back and forth. I did that for about 50, 60 hours a week for about 4 months. And that was awful. But with the money, I've got about $2,000 set aside for whatever I need to use it for. I bought some new clothes. I got new shoes. I got some new things for my home. I got some things that I needed to do this job. I got a little USB keyboard, so in case one of my laptop keyboards goes out, I'm not going to be without a keyboard. I got a couple of backup headsets, a couple of extra computer mouses. Or is it mice when you talk about computer mouses? I don't know. But regardless, I spent about $1,800 getting another laptop. So the work laptop I have now is great, and I don't plan on stopping using it. It works great. It's still powerful, does everything I need it to. But I wanted to be able to do something that was fun and just for me and my husband, or just for me and my personal friends. So I spent about $2,000 getting a nice gaming laptop. It's one of the it's a Republic of Gamers Asus Strix. I got one about 2 years ago. This was a $4,000 laptop, but I got it for less than $2,000. I got all the bells and whistles on it. Big hard drive, 64 gigs of high quality RAM. It's just an all-around good machine. It'll probably last me at least 10 years, if not the rest of my life, for doing the kind of gaming I want to do. So that's going to be my little treat, so I can treat myself one day a week to playing games and doing things that used to make me happy years ago. So I've got a few of the old games. I like point-and-click adventure games. I like Skyrim. I like things like Mass Effect. I like a wide gamut of games. Everything from, Warhammer Fantasy and 40K to cutesy little throwaway indie games where you just play a cute little character and solve puzzles. Like, I like a bunch of different games. So to me, that's like, for a lot of people, going to the range or going to church, and it gives them a lot of peace and contentment on a personal level. For me, solving puzzles and playing certain kinds of video games is healthy for my mind. So I'm making myself do that one day a week now with my husband, and we're having a lot of fun doing that. We just recently went back through Silent Hill 4, that the last of the Japanese Silent Hills, and it's so shitty. It has such a dumb, terrible story, and we had a good time going through that together. So now you've basically been caught up on what I've been up to for the last year and a half, especially the last few months.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, I can vouch for you saying that getting a new laptop. I had to get myself a new one because my last one was basically on its last legs.
So yeah, I remember you telling me that back last year sometime.
Yeah,
but, you definitely sound better. I can tell you got a better. What you said, you got a Logitech headset this time?
Yeah. I had it for a while, but it's just I haven't used it. And a lot of times when I was on stream with you last year, I was doing it through my phone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was the issue. Yeah. Which is why, I don't know what it is, but at times my phone, sometimes I notice this when I'm on stereo, that the mic quality just seems to drop off after so long, and they have to reboot the app.
Well,
for it to sound right.
Even though I do content for a living, I am not an audio video wizard. I don't know much about any of this, but what I do know about is current events and what's going on with people's lives and how things are shaping up. Is there anything in particular that you want to chew the fat about? I know that both of us are sick to death of Ukraine. We don't really want to talk about that disaster. But is there anything else going on, like maybe in your country or something you've experienced personally that we could chew the fat about that people would like to hear?
I mean, honestly, this is more of a meme, I would say, for you guys. But I would say now that the United States is signed to see what us Brits have to put up with gas prices.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Like even here, okay, here let me explain this to people. A little more than 2 years ago, right? Actually, no, only a little more than a year ago. God, it's felt like 2 years. Dial back the clock 2 Christmases. Okay, so about 15 months ago, right? Dial back the clock 14 or 15 months. Every Friday, they had 99 cents per gallon, not per liter, 99 cents per gallon regular fuel here. And the regular price was between like 108 and 129, depending on where you went around here, per gallon, not per liter. That's US dollars per gallon. And here we are now, just down the road, it's $4.10 a gallon. Quadrupled in price in just over a year. It is absolutely ridiculous. And then you look at the price of food. A loaf of bread is double what it was a year ago. Milk has gone up about $1.50 a gallon here, from like 3 something to over 5. Everything has gone up so much. It is ridiculous. And I think that it doesn't really have anything to do with the Ukraine debacle. I think it has to do with the sinister policies pushed forward by morons. I think that the morons who maybe truly believe in these moronic policies, I think that they are encouraged to have these ideas and policies because people want our economies to fail for the Great Reset. I think there's a much more sinister goings-on at the top of the economic pyramid of people that want to destroy the entirety of middle class and destroy the entirety of people being able to have business of their own. What do you think about that? Do you see that being the case in the UK as well?
Oh, there's definitely been major inflation. I mean, hell, just after the first lockdown, actually, it was technically this first lockdown, a place they used to go to grab lunch. What I normally got, which was a bacon and sausage baguette from this place, it used to cost me $3.25. That's British pounds, right?
Right.
After the first lockdown, when things were first allowed to open back up, it went up to $4.25.
That's a big hike all of a sudden.
Yeah, but after the second lockdown, it went up again to $5.50.
Wow.
Yeah. Because ultimately, all this inflation is basically the aftermath of all the money printing we've seen since March 2020.
Yeah, I read a thing. I don't remember if it was on Forbes or it was some mainstream publication that talks about business and economics. It said that 80% of all U.S. dollars that have ever existed have been printed in the last year. I just thought that was insane. Yeah, I thought that was just absolutely crazy to think about.
I have heard it was I have heard like a meme that was 80%, but I do remember when this was happening. Our friend Bill, he said at the time when he did a video on this, it was 25% of dollars ever printed in all time, and that was just.
Or maybe what I read was 20. It was like 80% of those in circulation. I don't know. The number was big. It was like 78.8 or something like that. It was almost 80%. Yeah. The thing that I read. So maybe don't quote me on the of all time. Maybe it was just what's in circulation that I read. I don't know.
Yeah, but I did hear as well that but in 2020, 25% of dollars ever printed was done just in 2020.
Jesus.
So, and normally when you have that much money printing, it takes about 12 to 18 months to feel the effects of inflation.
Yeah, and
So that's why, if there's going to be this spike in inflation, it's good to.
The Keynesian nightmare train ain't stopping, because just last week they authorized another $1 trillion+ spending package in the government of the U.S. Fed Gov, and of course it's got to do with COVID and the Ukraine and blah blah blah, all this other garbage. Like of course it has to do with that. So it looks like that there ain't no brakes on the Keynesian train, son. It's just taking us right over that cliff.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the only times I would say this is why you should not listen to an Englishman. Because Keynes was ultimately English, and
and also a degenerate monster. I think he was an evil person. I don't like him.
Well, I don't know about his life story per se, but I do know Hayek.
Evelyn Scrump and Trigg did a long thing on Keynes and the origin of Keynesian economics, and apparently he was quite the pedophilic scumbag. So that doesn't come as a surprise to me, since all the big money evil guys seem to have that one awful thing in common.
Well, I mean, after last night, I also heard the same thing that Charlie Chaplin was a notorious pedophile as well.
I don't know anything about Charlie. Oh, God, that was over 100 years ago now, wasn't it? Wasn't Charlie Chaplin aughts and teens and 20s?
Well, I mean, he was still around like post World War II because he
let
was
me
a
look up
spy.
Charlie Chaplin.
He died. I think it was in. When did he die? Hold on, I'll Google.
Let's see here. Old Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, well, he did stuff all throughout the early part of the 1900s. But yeah, he was born in the 1800s and died in 77. So he had a long life. He was like 80 or something when he died. But anyway.
Yeah. So back on point. Yeah, it's just utterly ridiculous. And like, I mean, us lot who are economically literate knew this was coming, and you just hear the outrageously blatant fake news, or sorry, misinformation or disinformation from the media.
Oh yeah, every day, it's nonstop, man.
Oh, the best bit is inflation is a good thing. I'm just like,
yeah, there's that, and also there's that Washington Post article about how war is not always bad. It makes us safer and richer as Americans. And I saw that, and I was like, God, I was like, Jesus Christ, they're just saying it. They're just saying it out loud now. It's crazy.
Yeah. The only way it makes America richer if you're the ones who everyone's buying the guns from.
And also, I don't think war makes regular people richer. I think war makes regular people worse off, like middle class and lower class. War is never good for us. It's only good for the rich assholes and the people that are part of the bureaucracy behind the war machine. It's not good for anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, but like the problem is though is that these same people who love to claim to care for the poor and that will always simp and push policies that will only benefit the wealthy.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that even if you were to spell it out to them, that even a 5-year-old would understand.
I think part of the problem is we were born into an era where I think that great men were already removed. I don't think that since you and I were born, there has been what I would consider a great man to lead any of our countries. I think that we were born into an era of weak, second-rate men and feminized beta or gamma men and women who try to be men running everything. Run the governments, run the corporations, run all the trade, they run the economic policies, they run the UN, they run NATO. All of these disgusting, weak-willed, let's call them products of bioleninism. They staff the important jobs and the important roles in every walk of life now. And that's what we grew up in. And it's so disgusting to me to see that the bulk of people, from boomers to 20-year-olds, don't seem, the bulk of them, of course not all, but the bulk of them seem to just go with whatever the mainstream government narrative is. And I think that might be a biological source. Like, I think that with the way that we have degenerated, and with there being no natural barrier to junk DNA being able to procreate, I think that we live among a sea of people that are like sheep. They intrinsically they seem like they're genetically predisposed to do whatever anyone in a place of authority says to do. And I know that traditionally that has always been some people. But I think that is a higher percentage now than ever before, is what it seems like to me. Well, what do you think about that, living in England?
The idea of people being sheep, I would argue the vast majority of people have been sheep from day one.
Yeah, but I think it's more now. Like, I believe that for the most part, people have always been like that. But it seems like that, I don't know, it's just like everywhere I turn, it's hard to find anyone who is willing to even question the narrative, let alone break away from it. Like, it's like 1 in 1,000, 1 in 1,000,000 now, who knows? But other than like the Shieldings event and meeting the few people online that I meet, it has to be what, less than 10% of the population now? Maybe it always has been, I don't know. And the sheep are prominent now. But to me, it just feels like that things are different from when I grew up 40 years ago. Things seem to be different.
I think it was because back then you still had people. Well, the adults in your time were still brought up in the old ways.
Yeah, I guess where I grew up, it might as well have been the 1800s still, because a lot of people didn't even have electricity and running water out here yet. So maybe it's just because I grew up in a place that was kind of time locked, and maybe things have always been this bad for the last 100 years. I don't know. Well, but anyway, maybe I'm just wrong because I'm a hillbilly retard. Who knows?
Well, I was just going to say, if you want to live somewhere in a time warp, just go to Cuba. You'd be stuck around the 50s and 60s.
Well, I think the 50s and 60s was a terrible time. I think that was when the bulk of the war machine propaganda really took hold, because that was after the long march through the institutions. That's when you had the whole nuclear family lie pushed on people to try to atomize communities. It's when the entire push of education and everything was, be a soldier or be an inventor for the war machine or work for a corporation. It wasn't, you know, go to church, build a strong community, build your own business. It was be a part of this growing industrial complex of bullshit. And I think that's when things really died for the project called America. It was the 50s and 60s. I think that's when it all ended. Do you think I'm right about that, or do you disagree?
There is some truth to that, but I think what it is as well is that well, one statistic I do know in my country I saw a few years ago, which was utterly shocking. More children today, the majority of children born today, born to single mothers.
Oh my god!
Not even post World War II, it was that bad.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's awful.
yeah. Well, yeah, but we all know who's at fault for this, and the problem is the only way to fix said problem, you're going to end up having to basically undo 70 years worth of political and social retractions, which, for quite frankly, are not going to be popular, but it will need to be done.
Yeah, when you look at demographic numbers, when you look at migration policies, and you look at the economic policies that basically sabotage Western countries to being able to be self-sufficient, it's a really bleak looking future, and that's why I think localism is important, because this horrible house of cards that the evildoers, we'll just leave it there, that the evildoers have put us in, it can't last forever. It's going to fall eventually. And the more of us that have strong communities and our own networks of education and production, the better off we're going to be. So, and we're definitely
But
not all going to make it through the storm, but I hope enough of us will for there to still be some some expression of Western civilization in some kind of countries that are for white people. I hope that is the case after the storm.
yeah, I mean, I would say as well is that when it comes to like power aspect, what I've been trying to educate those on our side of the fences, to use the expression,
Uh-huh.
is that especially in the United States context, it's like, yeah, okay, your oppositions control the schools, the media, etc. But here's the thing: the right control the two most powerful aspects of a civilization: agriculture and energy.
I don't know about energy, but I think that we definitely control agriculture and procreation, because
Well,
a
yeah,
lot of the people that are these mongrel men raised to make single mothers and all this stuff, it seems like everybody that I know that is part of a large family, that family is very right wing and very traditional. And I think that numbers alone, we would win. I think that's why the evil ones are trying to kill us with mass migration, is because the people who make children and farm the land reject all of their cancerous lies for the most part. And I think that's why they're trying to
but
get rid of us at a genetic paternal level.
well, the reason they're ultimately importing in mass migration is because the people that bring it in have a lower IQ compared to the domestic population, and also there'll be a guaranteed voting block, and also they're more likely to be on welfare.
Oh, for sure. I mean that's why the globalists, whether it's at Davos or at the UN summit meetings, they openly talk about browning the West with migration, because white people are too self-reliant and independent and reject the pause. And they don't want people who reject globalism. They want people who just are obedient serfs. And if they bring in a bunch
And
of, low IQ mongrels from other countries and flood us with them, well, then it's easier for them to get their way.
well, again, I don't give a damn what they want.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying
I mean,
that's
personally,
why I
if they
think they do it.
uh, those people only deserve absolutely nothing, or well, I should say to the party of Davos, to quote their own dogma, they should own nothing
Yeah,
and be happy about it.
yeah. I gave up on trying to make people pay or have recompense. I don't think that in the lifespan of these evil old people, I don't think that they're going to live long enough for us to gain enough power to hold them to account. So I do my best to focus on things that are positive, like building community around me, helping people organize, doing things that are white pilling and uplifting, because I'm getting old myself. I don't have a lot of years left, and I'd like to be able to at least have a good decade or so before I pass, surrounded by people who are of similar mind and want to build, positive things. So that's what I've been focusing on the last year or so.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you let me ask you about your local area. Do you do things in person? I know you have a nice family and you spend time with them. Are you building with anyone outside of your biological family where you live? Are you doing anything?
Well, not massively. Like I've actually for like the past year actually been going to a pub that I enjoy, just chatting about things that have been going on and stuff.
Oh,
So
that's
in that
nice.
sense,
That's
yeah.
nice.
But also like during the lockdowns, there are people having their little talks about the subject that you shall not name,
Yeah.
and talking about other things. Just having polite conversations with them and spreading my info to them, and then also to others, just dropping seeds
That's good.
about
That's good.
little
I do that
ideas.
with my mom's church group, and I'm trying to do that with our extended
Yeah.
family. But
I mean, it
out
makes me
here,
laugh
people
when
just don't
the
care. They don't want to
so
hear about it. They just want the rest of the world to
oh,
fuck off.
I
So
would say I would say where I'm at, it's quite common to see. I would say at least once a month, the SWP show their face, and it's just really funny to hear them talk
I bet. For people that don't know,
because
tell us what the SWP is.
the Socialist Workers Party,
That's like the what do they call them here? The New Democrats. What is it? The what's Kyle
Democrat
Kalinske? What's
Socialist
Kyle
of
Kalinske and
America.
his group called here? They're like that. I
No,
forget.
I don't. I,
It's
I
the
don't
it's
care
the
what
new
that.
liberal Democrat push that basically took over the Democratic Party in the last 10 years. They
Well, if you're talking about AOC, that's called the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America.
I don't know if that's who I'm thinking about, but it is that cluster of people that have basically taken over the establishment left here, and or at least they're trying to. I don't know if they've fully done it, but when you look at what's going on in the White House, it seems like they won. But I didn't mean to derail. Please continue. Talk about you and the pub guys making fun of the SWP.
No, no, I'm just saying, like, when the SWP show up, I just love making fun of them because it proves that they don't know what the F they're talking about.
Did they show up at the pub?
Like, no, not at the pub, but like they just have their little tables and their posters. I mean,
Oh, that.
I mean,
Okay.
there was a recording of a bunch of uh, groups of people who I know you have a long hatred for,
I'm listening.
and but yeah, who were constantly complaining about human rights, and I was just laughing at it, and they were complaining about, oh, where were you with this, and I just was laughing at them, and I got two long recordings of them protesting. One
I
of them was
think
outside the police station.
I think mockery and derision is a powerful tool that we need to bring back because if we can get whenever we have these asshats trying to speak to our workers or where we socialize or at schools, if enough of us get together and shame them and mock them and ridicule them, that is a very powerful tool that we have. And I think that it should not be underestimated how powerful that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the problem is though, you hear him talk. I mean, it made me laugh when they were talking about complaining about safety and pretending care about women. I was just laughing as somebody said to me, "Oh, what are you laughing about?" I was like, "Where the hell were you types when the grooming gang started being exposed?"
What was the
Oh,
comeback?
that's
Did they
right.
have anything to say, or did they just look at you dumbfounded?
They were like, oh, that's right, because you wouldn't say anything because you were feared of being racist. Don't preach about fucking upholding human rights when you will bend like you will bend like a twig the moment a minority does it.
Did that person have a comeback for that? Did they say anything?
I'll just try using the xenophobia card, and I pointed out to him that one, they're a religious demograph, and two, if you believe that, then you must also believe the other religious demograph is an ethnic group as well.
I mean, they are, but
Well, they're not, I would argue, but hey.
okay, that's fine.
Um,
Well, Well, anything else that you want to tell me that you've experienced or been involved in over there in England?
Well, I mean, for like part, I mean, obviously, I now have a near 9-month-old niece. I mean, when I heard the news that my sister was expecting, I mean, I wasn't say I was shocked, but I was just more like very worried that she might say no
Yeah.
to keeping it, but thankfully she did.
Well, good. Does
And
does
yeah.
she have a husband or is she one of those single moms?
Oh no, no, no. Her boyfriend is around, but the thing is that he spends half the time living with us and half the time living with his parents, so
Okay, all
he's
right.
around and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he's not a.
So they're young and the baby was an accident.
It just happened. I mean,
That's what I
they're
mean.
both 21, so they're both 21. So I mean, like I said, with my sister, I didn't have any worries that she would not be good as a mother. It's just like initially when I heard it, I was thinking, okay, it might be a bit early, but then again,
Well, I'm sure you're a good uncle.
yeah. Oh, please, my niece freaking loves me.
Does you
I'm
does
definitely the favorite.
does your niece get along with your dog?
Oh yeah, yeah. She loves. I mean, my what's funny about the puppy was when she found well my puppy actually knew my sister was expecting before I did because when
Now you call
my
her a
most
puppy, but isn't she like 3 now?
well she had her fourth birthday on
Oh, 4. Okay.
last Monday. I don't care. She's still a puppy in my eyes. All dogs are puppies in my eyes. Okay.
Okay.
All dogs are puppies in my eyes. I don't give a damn if they're 20 years old or the size of a bear. They're still puppies, okay?
I know you
But
love
yeah, but
dogs.
yeah,
I like dogs too. Just I think you
yeah.
love them more than I do.
Touche, yeah, yeah. But basically, she definitely like acted different when my sister was expecting because she used to basically curl up with me, but then she was curled up with my sister all the time.
Yeah,
So I
you're
was
not
thinking
the
to myself,
first
that's
person I've
odd.
heard say that dogs can know when women are pregnant. Yeah, I've heard people say that before. That's kind of folk wisdom, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely some evidence to it because I mean, my puppies found out before me that well, before the rest of the family that people are expecting. She's done it 3 times now. So
Oh,
there must be
interesting.
something in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, what's it called? But yeah, yeah. So she was basically curled up with my sister, constantly having the head and the paw over the belly. So yeah,
Oh, that's cute.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
But well,
to change. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
but yeah. But what was kind of annoying on her perspective was after my niece was born, the puppy wasn't allowed on my sister's bed, and she's kind of like, "What's up?" And she's kind of like confused, like, "Wait, you let me on the bed all this time, but now you won't let me on the bed with the little baby human." But no, she's very good. Like she's very tentative. Like every time she hears the baby whine, she's got her ears up, like looking for it. Like, what's wrong with the baby? But yeah, she's very good. I mean, my niece does. I do show her to the puppy, and puppy just sits there, like let her like touch her. But my niece, because obviously she's at the age where she wants to grab everything. I
Oh
try to
yeah,
tell her teach her not to grab and just stroke. But obviously,
yeah.
she has
That's
the she gets like the excited hands, as you could call it.
yeah.
So
When
yeah,
when I was around a lot more younger family when I was young, because I've got a whole mountain of cousins. We've I've been around all ages of kinfolk most of my life until like the last decade. But when we were young, that was one of the things that I remember thinking was so funny that all little babies go through this grabby phase where they want to just grab the dog's ears or pull the cat's tail, and it's just
yeah,
it's really cute and funny to me.
yeah. Well, yeah, but it's just in that nature, like they when they get used to house, they want to grab hold of everything they can.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like I said, they don't know. But yeah, but don't worry. Like, I definitely want to take her out on little adventures.
When it comes to the liberalist crew and old Carl Benjamin and the people that are of
Mhm.
that cluster, do you spend time with any of them anymore? Because I know that you did it once upon a time. I just wondered, have you done anything with them for the last year or two?
I mean, well, I haven't. I mean, the old group that I was in, it's basically dead. That was because the group got taken down under the false pretense of terrorism, so it had to be rebooted, and a lot of people think certain people caused it.
Yeah.
Caused a false flag basically, and since then, since they're not in it, weirdly this never happened again.
I was just curious because I know that I know that we've talked to those guys for a long time, but I haven't really, other than talking to him once briefly on an Oozaloo stream and having a back and forth with him in a chat about 8 months ago, I haven't had any contact with Carl in a few years, especially since he got so big with his Lotus Eaters podcast and all that.
Well, I mean, there was an event back a few months ago. They did another live meetup thing, and I was meant to go to it because I know BK was there and a couple of others, but I couldn't attend because my niece was really sick. So yeah, but which did suck. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I did turn up for the live tours with Carl and Dank in 2019, which were good fun.
No, I remember that. I just wondered if you'd done anything with them since the whole lockdown debacle started, because I know that a lot of their in-person stuff halted because of that.
Yeah.
I know that you met, like we talked about earlier, Scrump and Evelyn and all them. Is there any content creators that that I should know about, or that my audience should know about that you've met that might be young up and comers? Anybody new you've discovered you like?
Let me think. Who have I? I mean, in terms of political sense, I haven't really followed anyone new.
Me
per
either.
se.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, what's his face, Ralph, who I'll just channel name to House of Commons. I mean, he does a few streams where I sometimes chip in in the comments.
Cool.
I haven't really watched many recent AA streams because he seems to be so freaking all over the place.
Oh, I think it's because he's an entertainer and he likes stirring the pot. About a year ago, he went on this tear where he started talking a lot about old professional wrestling and Vince McMahon and stuff. And I think that I think he likes to emulate people, and I think that for the last 6 or 8 months he's been trying to emulate Vince McMahon because he likes heel turns, meaning he likes people that will make the audience cringe and disagree with for publicity. He likes picking topics that he knows will push a lot of buttons on the internet, like being against anime, going on that big tear against tomboys and all that. Like, I encourage people not to take him too seriously because he likes to stir the pot and make people angry.
No, but the thing is, that whole thing was just utter cringe.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just there like, and especially when I found out certain details from like BK and that, which he gets really upset about. Hence why a lot of them are banned by AA. Because half the time I remember when we used to play Jackbox together, on the weekends, when we play certain games where we had to draw stuff, half of the jokes would basically be about mocking AA. So it's like, bro, you talk about being like a university lecturer and all that, but you're acting like such a fucking pathetic, like, little female dog. Like, if I have to tell someone who's almost old enough to be my father to grow up, like, you're doing something very wrong.
Wait. How old do you think AA is? He's younger than me.
Well, I'm pretty certain. I could have sworn he was in his 40s.
No, he's younger than me.
Was he then? 35, 36?
I think he is mid-30s. I think he's either 34 or 35, yeah.
Okay, so he's almost a freaking millennial, and I'm just like, dude, grow up. Yeah, I'm a late millennial, but
I could be wrong about his age, but I'm pretty sure he's a few years younger than me. He might be late 30s, but I think the last time he said it, he was mid-30s, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay,
he's definitely younger than me. I'm like, Carl's age. I'm 42.
Yeah, and on Carl himself, I think he's, unironically enough, he's somewhat agreed with a point that I told him back in 2019. But
which is
that the Tories are just diet labor and they need to be destroyed.
Diet labor. That's pretty good. I like that. But no, I agree with you. I think it's the same thing with Republicans and Democrats in America. They're each a different face of the same shekel. And I don't think that there's either party doesn't represent me. So I mean, for now, like maybe one day if America First takes over enough of the Republican Party, it will actually change. But at the top end, what the parties seem to want, they both seem to want to advance the globalist war machine garbage that I hate. So, and at the same time, they both advance Keynesian economics and are in bed with the globalists as far as money is concerned. So, I don't like either party in America. I think they're both on the same team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just does make me laugh when like I can see something as someone who's not super deep into the stuff. I can see something where it's going well ahead of the people who are quote unquote all in on the subject, and I'm just like, bro, how the hell can you not see this?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the expression of you can't see the whole picture if you're standing 2 inches away from it.
I think for a lot of people, they want to feel like they are on the right side of history or they are morally correct. So they feel like they need to parrot whatever the current zeitgeist says they should care about is. And I think that's what's led us to the debacle that we're in, is the enemy group realized they could play the people that way. And this is why I hate democracy, is because even in a democratic republic like America, eventually with enough effort, you can get all the people in the offices that you need to have your way. And I just, that's why I hate democracy. I just don't care for it.
Well, I mean, I already pissed off a lot of people with this argument. Well, 2 arguments I've had in recent months. Democracy does not exist, and monarchists are the original simps.
Yeah,
that second one really triggered a lot of people. But ultimately, when I pointed out to people, like, look, nowhere in history has democracy ever existed. What you're told democracy is a lie.
Yeah, I think there's truth to that, because for the last couple hundred years, which is basically the history of democracy, like as we know it, right? Like it seems like the quote unquote will of the people is only ever talked about by people who want to take power and livelihood away from most of the people and use it for their own ends, whatever that may be. I don't think that democracy, like people are taught in schools, has ever existed. I think democracy has always been a trick of the oligarchs for the merchant class oligarchs to take control. That's what it seems like to me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but this is the point I try and explain to people. And I was even speaking about Eden about this 2 weeks ago, and I said to her that democracy does not exist anywhere. He's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, do you accept democracy was as depicted when it was first brought about was power of the citizens? She's like, yes. So okay then, so you agree that translates to tyranny against the minority view by the citizens, right? So yes. I was like, okay then, when has mob rule of the citizens ever been enforced politically speaking?
Yeah, I don't think it ever has.
And she struggled to name one.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't claim Brexit because ultimately, technically speaking, it hasn't been enforced.
Yep.
I mean, we went for Britain, like the immigration and multiculturalism question never had democratic backing by definition.
Yep.
The European Union question never had democratic backing. What else is there? Or the foreign policy never had, technically speaking, democratic backing.
Yep.
You know, the what's it called? The push for no divorce clauses. When I remember A did a video on this about what was said about the time. There was very little public support for it, but still went through. So it's always been a push for minorities, and that's the problem. It's like, if we had a real democracy, the minority doesn't matter. It's only the majority that matters.
Yeah. And on top of that, you can look at policies. Like when you look at policies of democratic countries, the policies that are pushed forward, that are pushed through, they don't benefit the bulk of the people. They don't benefit the will of the people. They benefit the rich, the immigrant, the Jew, and the Muslim. That's what policies of the last 100 years benefit. Well, specifically the last 50 years, we'll say. It doesn't benefit the host populations of any of our countries. It doesn't benefit the Christians. It doesn't benefit whatever your ethnicity is, whether it's French or Swedish or American or whatever. It benefits only the rich and powerful, only the war machine, only the immigrant, and only the Jews and Muslims. That's what all the policies are shaped around, is benefiting those people and catering to all the aforementioned. It has nothing to do with the demos, or demos, or however you say the Greek word. It only has to do with the elites.
Demos, I believe. Demos, I believe.
Demos, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been talking for around an hour. Let's go ahead and start winding things down. Is there anything in particular that you want to shill, or anything that you've got planned? I know that you talked about going through, oh dear, I've gone cross-eyed and I just forgot what we talked about. What was the show that? BattleBots. Right.
Robot Wars.
A Robot Wars. Sorry. Is there a Robot Wars thing, a stream that you've, or a series you've got planned that is going to come out that we can shill, or is it just in the theoretical stage right now?
Well, I've been trying to get hold of Scrump and Trigger about this stream, but I know they've been so busy with their own streams. Because when I first brought it up to them, they were deep in their democratization series they were doing. Sorry.
Yeah, they do interesting stuff like that, but it'd be cool if they would do just more fun stuff like what you're talking about, because Trig and Scrump and even Evelyn, even though she's not as quote unquote, old school as we are with talking about stuff, but I think that listen to me, Scrump and Trig, they would be great because they like to laugh. They're both funny. And I think that they would be a great avenue for Robot Wars, and I think that would be great. You should definitely talk them into doing it, and I'll definitely try to talk them into it as well, because that would be a really fun series.
Yeah, I mean, and there is that as well. Yeah, I mean, I found the channel. So basically, the Broken Crown, which is Aiden Paladin's second channel.
That's the one where Spoon and her do the thing each week, right?
Yeah, do the long streams. Yeah, I should be joining them tomorrow.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll just get you a link to the channel itself. Hold on.
Well, this is pre-recorded, so we'll be putting it all in after the fact. It's fine.
No worries. What's it called? So yeah, there's that. I also have my own personal stereo account, which I did do a show on Friday talking about this Sunday.
That was actually my last note here, was to get you to talk about that, because I don't know anything about that. So tell people what stereo is, because you told me a little bit the other night, but tell people on this what that is and what you do on it.
Okay, basically stereo is like your own it's like your own personal FM radio / podcast app. So I'm not sure if you ever heard of Clubhouse.
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, so there's Clubhouse and Stereo. Clubhouse is like the PC version. Stereo is like the mobile app version. But you could basically host your own radio or podcast show anywhere you want. You could set up when you want. You can choose if you want to add people on or not have people on. Have whatever subjects you want, and people who are listening in can chime in with comments.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I did one with. It was meant to be with a chap called Jake Sanson, but he had technical issues, so I had to bring in my friend Lex, talking about F1 testing, because it literally just finished F1 testing. And and I was thinking about maybe doing a series talking about. So yeah, I'm just on there. Sometimes I join panels, because that's the thing. If you get called up, you could join panels, you could add people, and then you could organize chats. I do have one on Thursday, which I'm doing with two lovely ladies. One who's Dutch, who lives in England, and the others from Iran.
Oh, cool! What are you guys going to be talking
about? The title of the topic is called "What is the appropriate age to?" and a series of dots.
Okay, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah, in the future, I'll do one of those with you if you want, and I'll try to encourage people to help you grow. But in general, I like the video medium more, and I like live streaming where you can pull up articles and be on cam and stuff. So I never really went into the podcast thing.
Yeah, I would say as well, what's nice with recent updates with Stereo is that you can DM people now for a recent update, and also if you hosting a show, you can put in a link to what you're referencing to, so others can look at it who are listening in.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
So, I remember I was having an argument with somebody about the subject that you do not talk about.
Yeah.
And thanks to this, I could actually post a link in there, so everyone can see what I was talking about.
Cool.
So yeah, there is that.
We'll definitely be putting the links to all that in the description. And anybody who likes what Kizza has to talk about and wants to learn more and get involved, Kizza talks to a lot of cool people. Kizza is cool. We've had a lot of good private talks about everything under the sun. Definitely go give his podcast, his stereo channel, a looky loo, or I should say a listen loo. And Kizza, anything else you want to say before we close up the recording and get out of here today?
Yes. For those who are old viewers of Yizz, you should remember this 4 little words: moralization, stabilization, secureness, normalization.
And for those of you who don't know, that is the reverse of the 4 steps that Yuri Bezmenov told us of Kizza's plan to move towards something better. And with that being said, thank you for having another conversation with me, Kizza. I'll definitely do one with you on your stereo at some point. And I look forward to doing another one of these with you this year. We should definitely make this happen again this year.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I'm currently off work thanks to the Ukraine situation. Although if it goes on too long, I'm going to have to get myself a second job to be able to pay the bills.
I think everybody's in that boat right now, friend. Well, thank you for being here today. Thank everybody for listening. And we're going to go ahead and end the recording now. And I look forward to having another one of these with you when we can, Kizza. Take care.
No worries. You take care.